I gotta ask you guys a question. How are y'all handling the heat wave? Because for a lot of us, it's a little much. Here in the Atlanta area, it was 108 degrees, bordering on a good old 110 while we were driving, and that was much. That was a lot. That was spooky. I was very, very happy when the rain finally came down and started dropping everything to a nice cool 97. You know, it was much. It was much, and I was not a fan. But a fan would have been very helpful. That said, if there is one thing that we could all agree on, it gets really hot in cities. And it gets really hot in cities oftentimes because there's a lot of reflective surfaces, there's a lot of concrete, so you have a combination of things that absorb and retain heat, or things that reflect the heat and just make it awful for you. Actually, there was a thing a few years ago about a building that was built with a very interesting, like, reflective, concave design, and a car outside the building getting its paint slowly melted off because of how much heat was being magnified off the building at the car. It's much. Also, Robbie says, I know, right? It's pushing 80 degrees, and so that's 4 degrees higher than it is in my office. Fuck you, Robbie. Fuck you. Absolutely not. But it's hot. It's very, very hot right now. And we're going to talk about that, but first we got to talk about this. This is a fan art submission from Lizard Lane, and it was an Autobot Pretender Suris sketch. And I have very big Mega Man vibes from this. I don't know why, but like this feels like somewhere between a Minicon from Transformers Armada and a Robot Lord from Mega Man, and I like it. I like it a lot. That face, that is a face with not a single brain cell in it at all, and it is desperately trying to muster up the courage to fucking breathe. So, you know what? Thank you very much, Lizard Lane. I think this is great. This has been submitted for the fan art contest. This is a thing where anybody who submits fan art into the suit contest section of the server, that fan art will be used, if it is the one that wins, as the basis for a new VTuber model outfit from my new model. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have not seen my new model, it is not done. It is in the process of being worked on, but this... Oh, that was right on the boobage. That was right on the boobage. This is where we are at right now with that model. This is, of course, the non-slimed version of the model, at least a little bit. And then right about here, let me go ahead and pull up the next one, just so y'all can see. And here is the current update on the slime version of the model. One of the benefits with this model is I will be able to fluidly bounce between skin and slime variants, and that is something that I've been wanting to be able to do for a while. As of right now, my only option for swapping to skin variant has been grabbing Salem's model, or grabbing Bonbon's 3D model, or grabbing Brumixen's model, or grabbing Pernia's model. Whereas this will allow me to have one model that I can bounce between the two fluidly in. Suris will also be able to fluidly bounce. Jesus Christ. That's not what I was trying to say, but, you know, we'll take it. We will take it. So, anyway, one of the other benefits of the new model is going to be that I am going to be able to get outfits put on it. Outfits are going to be a little costly, but I will be able to get constant updates with it. As a result, that's why we're doing the fan art contest. Sylvie says, I personally like the current model you're using because it's more cartoony, but that's just me. And you know what? It's perfectly okay to have a preference. I don't personally have a preference between the new model and my current one, especially because I love the history of my current one. But at the same time, there is the need to have access to another model that I can get updates for. As of right now, I will not explain everything going on with Suzu, but Suzu's health has been in decline, and they are getting better right now, but the last year and a half or so has been very, very rough for them, and so they've not been able to do any updates on this model, and that sucks. But hey, I don't know if Suzu's going to end up watching this particular video, but if they are, then please, in the comment section, put down a get well Suzu. That is S-U-Z-U, Suzu Sawara. The spelling for that is also going to be in the description below. That said, now we got to go ahead and actually talk about what I wanted to talk about specifically, and that is, of course, Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mandani was pointing out, hey, New York, it's very, very hot out there, and the power grid is working overtime to keep us cool. Set your AC to 78 degrees, turn off lights and electronics that you're not using, and unplug what you can. Our city is doing its part too, maintaining the 78 degrees rule in our buildings, dimming and turning off our lights during peak electricity demand, and asking private partners to do the same, and powering down non-essential equipment. A stable grid means the AC stays on and lives are saved. Let's ease demand and get through the heat together. Now, we are in the middle of an awful heat wave right now, and the worst thing about going through an unprecedented heat wave is typically you lack the infrastructure to handle it. If there is one benefit, one slight benefit that may come from the AI bubble finally crashing, it is that the extra power that we are having to build to support AI infrastructure, when that bubble pops, that power infrastructure will still be there and will actually, ideally, have a little more power to go around, especially when situations like this happens, to keep grids online when things may go wrong. We just need that bubble to fucking pop so that the robot can die, or at least morph into whatever the .com bubble would have morphed into under similar circumstances. Axo, thank you for the hydrate. I appreciate it. Let me do that real quick. But yeah, that is at least one of my points where the AI shit is concerned right now. When that bubble pops, when it finally does, when the tech bros finally realize that there is no money in this technology the way that they have conceived it, we will at least have more power infrastructure there. Sean says, no, they're just going to tear down the extra Sure buildings that shifts functions on the electrical grid because we can't have anything good to the United States. I don't think that's going to happen, Sean. We don't generally just go, oh, well, okay, fuck this, tear it down. We usually repurpose shit in those situations. Like, if you want to choose not to have a silver lining for the situation where the planet's getting raped because people really want robot waifus, then sure, I can understand that, but I choose not to take that route. I choose to take the route of going, okay, well, at the very least, there's infrastructure being made right now that hopefully we will be able to use in the future once we are no longer having to use it to power fucking Mecha Hitler. Sean says, I mean, Donald's literally buying land to not have wind power. Right, but that's not... You see how those are different things, right? You see how Donald Trump is buying land so that the gas companies will be able to continue monopolizing our energy industry is different than a power plant was built in an area and therefore will see use. Like, these are very different situations. Miralana says, part of the problem is those data centers are illegally running emergency generators to produce electricity, so if the facility stops working, they'll turn off the generators. It's part of why they cause so many air quality issues. I'm not 100% certain how much of that I can get behind. I think, okay, so I think maybe I'm incorrect here. Maybe I'm completely off base here, but I feel like we have a tendency to look at a thing as entirely evil and not think of any good that can come from it. A nuclear bomb is an evil machine that only has one purpose, and that is to destroy the world and take out constant human life and warp the entire planet. Nuclear power, which the research from the Manhattan Project was needed in order to create now, is a largely green energy source. Like, I'm sorry, but there are good things that can come from this, and one of those good things that I am going to cross my fingers on, and not fucking one of you can stop me, is having a better power grid so that we can keep things like hospitals online when shit like this is happening. You said nuclear energy, baby. Anyway, so as far as I'm concerned, this is in the current situation, a relatively benign ask. Hey, 78 degrees is, for people who can manage it, fairly comfy. It is not the worst thing in the world when you are comparing it to being outside in the hot concrete, where everything is fucking awful. Because the alternative is them not having enough power for a grid. Now, bear in mind, New York City is one of the most densely populated zones in the world. Period. Also, Tazor says, counter in this comparison, we do not have the LLM equivalent to nuclear power. We just have the bomb right now. Right, and we just had the bomb first with the Manhattan Project. That's one thing leads to the other. That's not a counter. That's an argument for linear time. Like, I'm sorry, but linear time is there. We live in a world right now where the power centers are being built. Once that bubble pops, because it has to, when that happens, those power centers will still be there. If for some reason we do end up stripping them down, then sure, hold my feet to the fire and say that I incorrectly predicted a thing that I was hopeful for. So can we have nonlinear time for a bit as a treat? Sean says, we've had nuclear power plants, they were just shut down. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. Bad things have happened. You are literally arguing against me hoping for things. Shut the fuck up. No, I am going to continue hoping. Your argument relies on the assumption that there will be the benefit. I'm pointing out that we're not guaranteed that. Yeah, I know we're not guaranteed that. That's why I've used the term hope, and I'm not giving up that fucking hope. Okay, so let's get one thing clear real quick. Every single fucking one of you. All of you. 110%. I need that hope to function so that I can wake up the next day and continue doing my job without shooting myself. So I'm gonna hold on to it. Okay, thanks. Anywho, the part of this that I wanted to talk about, though, is this. Ted Cruz saying, in a first world country, you could turn on the AC. Tazor says, fair, I can't argue that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Said, gotcha, don't spend any hope. Keep those slots at 6. Yeah, my hope spell slots need to be readied so that I can have access to them. I miss when San Diego boobies generated nuclear power. Everything reminds me of her. Man. Anywho, so Ted Cruz saying, in a first world country, you could turn on the AC. Now, let's ignore the fact that Ted Cruz is a rep in, Texas, a place that famously has a fuck ton of power grid problems. Let's just accept that real quick. Also, Ted Cruz's own state has made the same request on numerous occasions. He got hit with the Twitter, I guess X now, whatever the fuck Elon needs to call it so that you can want to fuck Grok, I guess. The Twitter community notes. Governor Abbott to Texans, please try to use less power. Governor Greg Abbott on Wednesday made this appeal to Texans, curb your electricity use if you can for the grid's sake. More specifically, the Republican is asking Texans to power down electronics in the coming days between 3 to 7 p.m., a time when demand typically peaks. Sylvie, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. The plan comes as Texans have cranked up their air conditioners to battle the oppressive heat, putting record-breaking demands on the state's energy resources. In order to mitigate stress on our state's electricity grid, Texans should take simple measures to save as much energy as possible. Sylvie, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub again to Jassa. On average, a megawatt hour, we don't need the math. You can read the math if you want to pause and read the math. Grid operators say the system has handled those demands well thus far. The council has offered these recommendations for cutting power use. Turning off necessary lights. Turning off necessary lights. When at home, close the blinds and set the air conditioning to 78 degrees. Maybe set your AC to 78 degrees. Huh. That's so weird. Man. When away from home, set air conditioning thermostats to 85 degrees and turn all fans off before you leave. Block sun by closing blinds or drapes on windows that will get direct sun. Do not use your dishwasher, laundry equipment, hair dryers, or coffee makers between 3 to 7 p.m. Avoid opening refrigerators or freezers more than necessary. Use microwaves for cooking instead of an electric range or oven. Yeah, that one's not fucking happening. No, Gregabot, no. We are not gonna go and just live on fucking kid cuisine. Absolutely not. And set your pool pump to run in the early morning or late evening, but not during peak demand hours. Boy howdy, that seems like a lot more of an ask than Zohran Mamdani is making, but Governor Greg Abbott, who is over Texas, where Ted Cruz also is employed as a politician. It's a first world country falling into third world despair when Zohran Mamdani does it, but I guess when Governor Abbott does it, it's just a hot day in Texas. You know, things get awfully hot in Texas. Chapazio says, do you even meal prep, bro? I do. Actually, I had beefy mac and cheese for breakfast because I cooked it the other day. Said LOL, the U.S. Department of Energy also removed their 78-degree thing after the MAGA bots got their talking points in the group chat. News release. In 2021, by the way, several years later, tight grid conditions expected due to high number of forced generator outages. The Electric Reliability Council of Texas is asking Texans to reduce their electric use as much as possible. Today through Friday, a significant number of forced generation outages, combined with potential record electrical use for the month of June, has resulted in tight grid conditions. Wow. Wow, that's so cool. Guys, isn't it so great that Ted Cruz desperately needs to argue something third world country, something socialism, because that's the shit on his mind, I guarantee you. When all of that has been happening in Texas as well, whenever a heat wave comes through, that's so cool. ERCOT requests conservation, but why 78 degrees? Man, that looks really similar. That looks really fucking similar. Jennifer Reeser here going out, they actually slapped a community note on this. The Democrats are determined to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they have utterly no sense of humor and can't stand the thought that someone somewhere might laugh at them. Right, but he's a politician. When he makes jokes, we have to ask the follow-up question, why should I laugh at the joke? You see, the cool thing about jokes is you do have to read the room to figure out whether or not they're going to land. But when you throw them out into the aether, there is always the chance they won't land. When I say a joke into the chat randomly, like something like, I don't know, furries don't deserve human rights, there are going to be people who are going to take that and run with it and go, aha, genocide apologia or some shit. And the point of the joke, that the furries are anthropomorphic animals, therefore aren't humans, that joke doesn't fucking land anymore. And you know why I know that has a problem? You know why I know that joke has not landed before? Because I've made that joke on stream 4 years ago, and I remember getting in a fucking fight about it. I remember this shit. And it is almost as if, generally speaking, when you are dealing with millions of people on the internet, sometimes a joke won't land. And that's okay. It's a thing that you've got to be able to deal with. Also, Ted Cruz routinely has said shit against Zohran Mamdani. He also used to routinely say shit against Trump, but he stopped doing that a long time ago, back when boots started looking Trump penis-shaped. Also, furry wrongs. Yeah, we're not here to fight for furry rights. We're here to fight for furry wrongs. Dezor says Schrodinger's asshole as usual. Yeah, it's the, if I say something disparaging into the aether, and my opponents are offended, it was just a joke, bro. But if my constituents rally behind it, it was a salient observation of the facts. It cannot be both, but it is in fact both in this. Yeah, it was a joke, brah, unless it's Schrodinger's asshole. Said Ted never in the state. Cruz needs to shut the fuck up. Will New York City ever be a first world country again? Is this just AI generated shit? I'm fairly certain it is, right?
New York, it's hot out there, and the power grid is working overtime to keep us cool. Set your AC to 78 degrees, turn off lights and electronics you're not using, and unplug what you can. New York, it's...
What are they cheering there?
New York, it's hot.
Get up the state? Get off the stage? I mean, it's definitely AI. Like, look at the fucking mouth.
There, and the power grid is working overtime to keep us cool. Set your AC to 78 degrees, turn off lights and electronics you're not using, and unplug what you can. New York.
Okay, hold on. New York, for this many... I don't know why I'm trying to dig into AI, but I know that it's something that was made. Right? So, like, there is at least a person behind this who made the prompt. So I have to always ask the question, why did they prompt it the way that they did? Even though it's not made by a person, it is prompted by a person. So there is going to be aspects of their decisions that are in there. And I want to figure out why the fuck. Marco says, I've become more and more actively annoyed at AIs, for lack of a better terms, the breathless tempo in speech. Yep. Bagozi says, Mamdani's a communist. I wish. Still, he's making people apologetic, so... Or apoplectic. Apoplectic? Shizal says a data center using a fuck ton of water and electricity made that. Yeah. Though, the water is mostly used during training. I'm just gonna do that thing. We're just gonna do the thing real quick. This is your... Hold on. This is your daily reminder.
About time they got
No, do not... Autoplay. Let me pick a thing. Hank, Green, Bop. This is your daily reminder, as will always be, that if you want to effectively fight against a thing, you need to learn what good rhetoric against the thing is and what is not good rhetoric against the thing. If you want to have good rhetoric against the thing, you need to learn about the thing. Hank Green has a fantastic video called Why Is Everybody So Wrong About AI Water Use that goes into the whys and everything about AI and water. We are, as always, every single time, when somebody brings up the water thing, I am going to point this out every single time. We have a common enemy. My interest is in making you better at fighting it. They tried to build one near Nashville, the Nashville Zoo, and the whole... Yeah, no, it doesn't need to be near a fucking zoo. Why would you build one near a fucking zoo? The noise pollution of these things fucks with animals. Why would you want it near a zoo? People actually get sick near these things because of the fucking noise. And I'm not even shitting you. Like, that's an actual thing. Why would you want it near a fucking zoo? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, because then you could power up with the animals? Shut the fuck up, Cancun Ted. This person is an embarrassment. I swear he must have a humiliation kink. Love the community note. How about we just be honest and let everybody know the energy is essentially free, but is being kept from the public so the government and friends can profit, so they can keep it hidden under the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. Just saying. What? What in the tinfoil hat? I'm just curious, do you think that, like, hoarding electricity is a thing? Do we just, like, have billionaires that hoard it in fucking bottles and then just, like, keep it on their shelves forever instead of letting hospitals use it? Is that what this is? I feel like you're mistaking electricity with money, where the money is being hoarded by billionaires instead of, you know, electricity being hoarded by offices, I guess? Like, that, what? Okay, well, we hit the conspiracy theory. We've hit everything. We have had the Schrodinger's asshole. We have had Ted Cruz does not understand humor. We have had Zohran Mamdani doing another W as usual. We have had the hypocrisy of the Republican Party. We have had the daily quota of, hey, by the way, AI in its current form, with its current owners, with the way they're fucking pushing it, is really fucking awful. And I would really prefer if it just fucking disappeared tomorrow. And if there are good things that come from that of it disappearing, great. Steal the RAM, though. Definitely steal the RAM. Make conversion kits for the RAM so you can use the RAM, but definitely steal the RAM from data centers. And we've had our obligatory, hey, if we have a common enemy and the enemy is AI, maybe we should, you know, learn how to fight against it a little better. There we go. We hit everything. We've got every single quota that ever happens on any stream of mine ever. All of them. At once. Anywho. Remember, you shouldn't plant bamboo next to AI centers because of how invasive the roots are. Or just do that. You could just do that, actually. You know, I'm not saying do anything illegal, but I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. I'm telling you that it's okay to plant, you know, trees. Planting trees is a good thing. Planting trees is fantastic. And mint. Oh boy, mint is great too. Nothing wrong with trees. I agree, Kenma. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.